Hi there. Today I'm with Deborah Nel, and she's a communications coach, a life coach, a public speaker. She has done wonders for me and my family, and I just want to pick her brain about public speaking. For instance, when I first stood up in front of a crowd to present for a company I used to work for, my throat closed and I literally could not say anything. And to this day, I feel that if there's a crowd in front of me, something changes, the brain switches off. However, she's done amazing wonders for my children who have no issues. And I've seen her speaking in public several times, and she is absolutely wonderful. What is it? Is it a button that we need to push?
So, the whole nervousness thing is hectic. I mean, public speaking is up there with the fear of death. I think it's second to the fear of death is the fear of public speaking. It is a genuine thing. People become terrified of it. But there's a lot of misunderstandings about what is that nervousness about. I'll work with a group of people and we'll all sit around a boardroom and I'll say, introduce yourselves, and they're fine. And I'll say, okay, now say the same thing, but stand up here in the front, and they get terrified. And the reason is all the attention on you. The ego goes, oh, what's going to happen? Am I going to make a mess? Are they going to like me? Are they going to judge me? What if I mess up? What if I make a fool of myself? And so the voice in your head, I call it your coach, but it's not a really good coach in that situation because it's giving you the wrong messages. And a lot of those are from your past. So in the schools, they don't know how to prepare children to stand up and speak. And they'll get them to stand up and read or stand up and say a speech before they're ready. The children will laugh or they'll make a mess, they'll get embarrassed. And then they've got this memory of a bad experience. When I work with somebody who has a fear of public speaking, I can guarantee you they're going to tell me that they had a bad experience at school or as a kid when they had to stand up and speak. And now that memory and that feeling is locked in. So what I do is first of all, I look at, they also make a decision at that point that I'm not a good speaker, or I'm too nervous, or I'm terrified of public speaking, or I can't do it. So what I have to do is then reframe that thinking and show you that that's based on an experience when you were little and unprepared, and then replace that experience with positive experiences where you do stand up and you're successful. And then what happens is that relieves that. Also remember, as soon as you stand up in front of an audience and you have all that attention on you, the body releases adrenaline. Now, adrenaline is a fight or flight syndrome. So I have no idea why when you stand up to speak, your body thinks it needs to fight or run away. But you get all this extra energy. And that's why you'll see people fiddle, or you'll see people rocking, or you'll see people shaking their hands. They've just got too much energy and they don't know how to give it to the audience. So that's another thing that I teach you, is this adrenaline is nothing to be feared. It does have very specific symptoms for some people: closed throat, mouth dry, heart sounds like it's in your ear. Some people will have their voice quiver, or I've seen people faint from adrenaline. Literally, I had a person presenting to me and they fell over fainting. So it has some hectic symptoms. People get headaches from adrenaline. But the trick is to notice, how does adrenaline work in my system, and to notice the awareness of, oh, okay, this is just the adrenaline. And remember, adrenaline is only in your body for about 30 to 40 seconds. And thereafter, it has to subside. Your body cannot handle so much adrenaline for so long. So as long as you're well prepared in the beginning, you're aware of the adrenaline feeling, you can overcome it. Another way to look at it is, adrenaline manifests the same way for fear and nervousness as it does for excitement. And so I always teach the children I'm teaching to say, let's call it excitement, because it's the same feeling. So which feels better? If I say I'm nervous or I'm scared, I feel pretty small. But if I say I'm excited, I feel empowered. And so the trick is to get your coach in your head to say the right kinds of things, because fear and anxiety comes from a future projection. So the future projection is, what happens if I? But if you stay in the moment and focus on your message, then there's no future projection. Then you can relax and actually be in the moment and start to enjoy it. Believe it or not, when I work with people, they get to a point where they can actually enjoy standing up and speaking, which I do. I absolutely love standing up and speaking. Doesn't mean I don't get nervous. I do. I've just learned how to handle it and how to transform it into more of an excited feeling, so that I can then use that adrenaline to help me sparkle and shine rather than have it shut me down, which is what happens to a lot of people.
Okay. So a question comes to my mind. I am always in two minds. Do I rehearse? Do I memorize something? Or do I just speak off the cuff, but then maybe miss important points? What do we do?
Yes, that's a very good question. And my answer to that would be, do not have a script that you learn word for word. The problem with that is that if you skip a word, then you panic. And then a new rush of adrenaline comes, and you can get flustered and start with ums and sound unsure. So rather memorize the concepts or the main points and be able to talk around them in different ways. That's how I work. I never learn a script word for word. I will have the main concepts, and then I will rehearse saying those concepts in different ways. So once I know, okay, these are my main concepts, which enables a professional speaker like myself to speak for an hour without notes. We have the main concepts in our mind. Okay. We know how we're going to talk around them, and each time we say the speech, it'll sound a little different because we've learned the concept itself. But yes, prepare. If you are unprepared and you have got no idea what you're going to say, the nervousness is 10 times worse. And then you can sound flustered, you can sound unsure. But sometimes you can't prepare. Very often you're in the office and they say to you, right, please stand up and present this for us. And then you're like, but I didn't prepare. What am I supposed to say? Yes. So what I do when I'm working with clients is I'll throw a word at you, a sentence at you, and then you must speak around it, so that you get used to the idea of thinking on your feet. It's really important, and that you sound confident when you're thinking on your feet and when you're improvising. So there definitely is a place. If it is a prepared presentation, yes, prepare it, not word for word, main concepts for sure. And that's where PowerPoint helps these days, or having the concepts on your phone. But do not try and write out your entire speech and read it. That also becomes very stilted and lacks spontaneity, and your personality doesn't come through. So when you need to rehearse, yes, rehearse your main points, not every single word. And when you don't need to rehearse, get used to thinking on your feet and talking around a topic. But those are skills that you can learn, and I really would recommend you come see me or go for some training, because these are skills that can be taught. And you can become really proficient at improvising on your feet. You'll notice with your staff, I can give them a word or I can give them a sentence, and they'll be able to talk for a minute on that. Yes. And that's from training with them. It is something that you can learn. So definitely give me a shout. My name's Deborah Nel. You can find me on the internet. Come and do some training with me, and I'll teach you all these wonderful skills. And at the same time, I will show you how nervousness can be a tool to help you shine and sparkle. It doesn't have to be something that shuts you down.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marussia.
Look forward to more.